Hi, my name is Crin, and my hobby is shoving things into my ears. Sinclair. Hey, a super charismatic YouTuber here to talk about really expensive earphones because they're shiny and makes great clickbait content. In case all of this feels very familiar to you, all of this is actually just a remake of the very first video that I had uploaded as Crinacle. Since my last channel got yeeted out of existence and I'm basically re-uploading all of my old content to this channel, I figured it would be kind of fun to redo one of my old videos in my new style. Now, would I desecrate the memory of the first video that I ever made with a sponsored ad read? Absolutely. Linsol.com. This is an ad read, by the way. Looking for some chi-fi IEMs but not sure where exactly to buy them? Why not consider Linsol? They've been around in the hobby for a great many years now, and they've established their reputation as being one of the most trusted stores in the online chi-fi space. They carry some of the most popular and hyped brands available now, ranging from DACs, amps, headphones, and of course, IEMs. They also ship virtually everywhere, so there's no need to worry about all those pesky geographical restrictions. Go to linsol.com, support the people who support me. So here is the IER Z1R, an IEM that back then I paid $1,500 US for. Despite that, I want to tell you how great they are, despite the fact that now I'm broke and the loan sharks are knocking on my door. So here's the scenario. You just sold your kidney and half of your liver, and so what are you gonna get for 1.5 big ones? Well, you could consider this Japanese earphones made by Japanese engineers, which surprisingly isn't available for sale in Japan during its release. Not a joke. Crin, get to the point, I hear you ask. Well, settle down, calm down, alright? I'm getting to that. The Z1R is Sony's newest flagship earphone. The IER Z1R, not to be confused with the MDR Z1R, which is a completely different product and is Sony's newest flagship headphone. If the naming convention doesn't make sense, don't worry, you're not alone. The Z1R, again, the earphone, not the headphone, has 3 drivers. But nowadays, 3 drivers actually isn't a lot, considering that nowadays you have people shoving in as much as 24 drivers into one tiny little shell. But the Z1R uses huge dynamic drivers which are bigger and, dare I say, much better than those tiny weak BA drivers that everyone is shoving and stacking, more for flexing rather than any appreciable sound quality improvements. Since this is a review and not just me talking to a camera for fun, let's just talk about the unboxing experience, which is just leagues and miles above everything else that I've experienced thus far. For the packaging, you have a box. But wait, inside those boxes, there are gonna be more boxes. One of those boxes is kind of like one of those things that you put a wedding ring in, which is real swanky. And the rest are stacked in this drawer-like arrangement that you can pull out and kind of like form a little staircase, and oh, it's so good. Apart from the earphones themselves, what else are you going to get? Well, you're gonna get not one, but 2 cables, one a 3.5mm single-ended cable and the other a 4.4 balance cable. Me, I don't have a balance device, but it's good to know that Sony recognizes that us single-ended peasants exist and have blessed us with their generosity. At the bottom of this whole drawer thing, you're going to have tips. Sony themselves have provided both triple comfort as well as this silicone rubber hybrid thing, as well as every single size known to man. So at the end of the day, you're basically gonna have 10 million tips that you're basically not gonna use. Do I need to talk about how it's built? I don't think I need to talk about how it's built. It's metal. You could tell how it's built just by looking at it. In fact, you could just throw this at someone's head and probably dent their skull. Hell, throw it hard enough and you probably have a homicide case on your hands. That said, it is really heavy. It's like 50 kilograms, so it's kind of really jarring when the first time you hold it in your hands like that. Okay, so now for the most important part of the review, the whole point of someone buying something like this in the first place, the sound. Now, everyone knows that everything above 200 Hertz is irrelevant. The only important thing is bass. And let me tell you, the Z1R's bass is marron, muy caliente. Let me rephrase and be a little bit more serious this time. The IER Z1R's bass is deep It's rumbly. It's almost as if they're using a dynamic driver. But apart from that, it's also clean. It's fast. You hear every single beat well articulated and well separated from one another. You get both the dirty, broad impact as well as the refined speeds, and all of it combines together to form this bass response that is the best they've ever heard in any universal IEM. Am I detecting someone being a shill? But if you want to be a degenerate and know about things other than the Z1R's bass, fine, all right. The Z1R's mid-range is a bit thin. It's not that thin, mind you. There are certainly other things that have a bit more body than the Z1R, but it's more akin to, let's say, a slightly starved Instagram influencer as opposed to an anorexic runway model. Am I still allowed to make that joke in 2023? Look at me. The Z1R is not me. It's not thick. Well, I'm more fat than thick, but you get the point. So what that means is that the Z1R is not going to perform as well on certain instruments, for example, male vocals or cello. I personally am a very big fan of Sinatra because his voice is very deep and gravelly, but also at the same time very smooth and buttery. But the moment I put my favorite Sinatra tracks on the Z1R, all I go is just What you want to do is to just put on some weeb shit and all the other related stuff. Anime OSTs with high-pitched girl voices, K-pop girl groups, Canton pop, hell, anything. As long as the singer has a vagina, you'll probably do well on the Z1R. All in all, the best way that I can describe the Z1R sound signature is that it's a natural upgrade from its predecessors, which is the XP-N3s, the XP-A3s, as well as the XP-Z5s. Why didn't you just call it the XP-Z1R? It makes so much goddamn sense. What the hell is IER? Where is the continuity? The naming convention must be some kind of abstract genius, because the more I think about it, the angrier I get. And then we get to the treble, where if you ask 10 different people, you're gonna get 10 different answers because the Z1R's shell is Cancer. If you're like me and you have giant black hole ears, then what you want to do is you want to shove the Z1R as deep as you physically can, because at that point you get what is the ideal treble response, which is nice, smooth, well extended, yada yada yada, you get the point. Unfortunately, if the Z1R's deem your ears not worthy of the proper fit, then what you get is a response that is slightly sibilant, a little harsh, a little peaky, not very optimal, is my point. It's not your fault, I know, just blame your parents for not giving you the ears that you deserve. Crin, what are you running it off of? Well, for testing, I do have it run off my i-Fi Micro Black Label, which is one of the most powerful portable amps on the market today. But for 90% of the other listening, I usually run it off of my Apple dongle. Oh no, the dongle, I hear you say. Well, shut up. It's great and it sounds better than 90% of the DAPs out on the market today. Don't at me. All that said, if you're going to tell me to burn this in for another few hundred hours to get to the optimal listening experience, go fuck yourself. I don't subscribe to that snake oil shit. Go away. So I guess the big question now is it worth it? No, you can probably get to like 80 to 90% of the Z1R's performance at half the price, hell, at a quarter of the price. The target market for the Z1R is not for the normal people. It's more like people like me who are searching for that last 10 to 20% of performance and are willing to pay through the nose for it. That or rich Chinese people who have no idea what to do with their wallets. Apparently though, there are at least a few thousand other people who have already bought the Z1R. So it's not that crazy of a product as it initially might seem. So yeah, that's the end of the review. Thank you so much for watching the mad ramblings of a random guy on the internet. Like, subscribe, comment, yada yada, all those YouTube stuff. And now let me just shout out my big money boys. Quick fun fact, back when this video was released, my only $20 patron, Dennis. So to Dennis, thank you so much. You're an OG. Really, thank you so much for supporting me all this time. And for today's big money boys, here are all of your names who have subscribed to the $20 tier on my Patreon. And for those who have subscribed to the $30 tier on my Patreon, allow me to speak out again your beautiful names: McMadface Dennis, Laughing Psychonaut, TJ Daily, Saswata, Crinacle, Alicia Burrito, Alex Frid, Andrew, Kevin, Pitt, Vanderwit, Posse Chronic, and Amber. Thank you all. For anyone else who's curious to see the actual original video, don't worry, it's all down in the description, just simply unlisted. I refuse to have that published properly on my channel nowadays. Beyond all that, the usual, see you next week and don't die. Fuck off.